we are moving to the second unit, that is about the functions. Functions we are starting. So how many types of functions actually you know? We have how many types of functions? Two types of functions. Two types of functions, right? So what are the two types of functions we have? The first one we have is built-in functions. Yes, built-in functions. Or what is another name we have for built-in functions? Predefined functions. Predefined functions is one thing we have. And the second one you have is a user-defined functions. So these are the two types of functions what we have. Predefined functions and user-defined functions we have. So coming to the built-in functions. So what are built-in functions? What are built-in functions? The functions which have already a specific meaning, that are built-in functions. So we have already in the first unit, we have seen the few things, a few examples of built-in functions. And can you give the few examples of built-in functions? We have seen many things, many examples of built-in functions which are already defined, which is having a specific meaning. Just we are using it, that's all. Can you give the few examples for the built-in functions? Many things we have seen, right? Okay, find. Okay, someone is giving find, type, replace, print, clear, yeah, title, many things, many built-in functions we have seen. What is the use of that? Are we writing the code for that? Are we writing the code for that? Like if you say print, clear, title, all these are the different built-in functions which are available. Length, tuple creation, all that. We have seen many built-in functions. Are we writing a code for that? No, we are not writing the code for that. Already we have a specific meaning for that which is already being defined. What we are doing is just we are using it. Just we are using it. So that which is having already a specific meaning and we are just using it, that functions we call it as a built-in function. So many examples we have seen. So now our next concept here is user-defined functions. User-defined functions. So what are user-defined functions? Who will define this? Who will define the user-defined function? So user will be defining. User will be defining the functions. That functions we call it as the user-defined functions. So now what is the meaning of a function? What is the meaning of a function? Built-in functions already we know. Now I'm not touching anything about the built-in functions because many examples we have already completed. Now we are moving to user-defined functions. So the functions which are written by the user or the programmer, we call it as a user-defined function. Now, what is the meaning of a user-defined function? What do we have in that? What do we have in that? Yeah, it is a set of instructions. Set of instructions. Set of instructions written by the user. Written by the user for specific purpose. Written by the user for a specific purpose, that we call it as a user-defined function. Okay, a function is the user-defined function is a set of instructions which are written by the user, that we call it as a user-defined function. And why we are writing that? We are writing for solving a specific purpose, some problem you have. So to solve that, we are writing the set of instructions. That is a user, that is nothing but a user-defined function. Why we have to write? Why we have to write the functions? What is the use of a function? Do we have any use for writing a function? Reusability, do you have? If you write a function, do we have a use of reusability? What is the meaning of reusability? What is the meaning of reusability? Reusability is again and again using the same. We call it as reusability. So the use of a function is the main use of a function is reusability. In any programming language, if you take, what is the use of a function? Why we are rewriting the function is it is reusable. We can use multiple number of times here. That is one thing. And since you are reusing it again and again, you are writing only for one time and we are reusing it for many number of times. Obviously, the set of instructions will also be reduced. Set of instructions will be reduced. This is also one more thing here. And we have the other uses also. As we proceed, we will see that later. So use it. Two types of functions we have: built-in functions and user-defined functions. Built-in functions are already, which are defined. We are just using it and we're not writing any code for that. User-defined functions are the functions which are defined by the user. And what do we have is we are having the set of instructions. And why we are writing is to solve a specific problem. We are writing that. And what is the main use here is, the main use of the function is, it is reusability. Reusability is again and again we can use the same set of code. That we call it as a reusability. Since we are reusing it, obviously the set of instructions will be reduced in the program. So that is use of the function. Is that clear? What is the main use of the function? The main use of the function is reusability. Now, shall I proceed further now? Yeah. So now we came to know what is the use of a function. So that is the main use is a reusability. Now here, the function can return a value or a function may not return a value. Whatever the function you are writing or whatever the set of instructions you are writing, the function may return a value. Return a value or does not return a value. Does not return a value. Already in the C language, you have studied what is this returning a value or it does not return a value. Return a value is nothing but it do some operations and returns the result. That is nothing but returning a value. Returning a value is it is returning some result. Okay, that is returning a value. Does not return a value means it is not returning any result. Not returning any result. These are the two cases the function can have. The function may return a value or the function may not return a value. So here, if the function does not return any value, that we call it as a, if the function is returning a value, that we call it as a fruitful function. We have a new term here. If a function returns any value, that we call it as a fruitful function. Now, if you the another one, if the function does not return any value, that we call it as a void function. We have again two things here. If the function is returning some value or some result, we call that function as a fruitful function. If it does not return any value, that we call it as a void function. Is that clear? Is this clear? If it returns something, we call it as a fruitful function. If it does not return, that we call it as a void function. Shall I continue? Like for example, if you take type function, what does the type function will do? If you take type function, what does the type function will do? It checks, it gives the data type, right? It gives what is the data type. Now the type function, is it fruitful function or void function? Type function, is it fruitful or a void function? Type function is returning something, right? It is the example for fruitful function. Now, can you give few more examples for fruitful functions? Range, okay. Print, okay. Yeah, find. Length, okay. Extend. And coming to void. Void is which does not return any value, that we call it as a void function. Okay, as we proceed further, we will see the examples for the user-defined functions, which are fruitful functions and which are void functions. So I hope I made you clear what is the difference between a fruitful and a void function. So now let us see how to define a function now. Now we are seeing how to define a function. I'll just show you. So here, just explain you one again here. A function is, I'll just give you the definition. Function is a set of instructions which is be written by the user, and it is performs a specific task. And any function that returns a value, we call it as a fruitful function, and which does not return any value are called as void functions. Now we will see how to create a function now. So how to create a function or how to define a function. So how to create a function is, we will be using the keyword called as a def. Def is a keyword what you will be using. Def space function name, function name, function name, followed by parenthesis, colon, enter. If you give enter, the indentation will be taken and you have to give the set of statements. This is how we define a function. I'll explain you again. The def is a keyword what you will be using for defining a function. Space, you have to give the space after def keyword. Def is a keyword here. Space, function name, whatever the name you want to give to the function, that is the name what you have to, that is nothing but a function name, followed by parenthesis, So here into the parenthesis, we may pass parameters or we may not pass parameters. Okay, I'll just take the parameters here, parameters. And within the parenthesis, we have to give the parameters and followed by colon. And if you say enter, automatically indentation will be taken and you have to give the statements here. So if you see here, the first line we call it as a function header. It is a function header. This is a function header. And the statements, whatever the statements you are writing, that is a block of statements. And if you are giving an colon, the meaning is the function is starting. As we know, we don't have the open braces and the closed braces. As in the C language, we will start a block with the open and the closed curly braces. But in the Python, we won't start with open and closed curly braces. What we do is we will just give a colon. If you are giving a colon, the meaning is automatically the block is starting. The block is automatically starting. Is that okay? How you are defining a function? Is the syntax clear? I'll show you the example. Just take the syntax. Def is a keyword, space followed by function name. In that, we will be giving the parameters followed by colon and the statements. Shall I continue? Yeah. Now here, we have seen the syntax, how to write the function, the user-defined function. Our concentration is how to define a user-defined function now. Now here, you can define the user-defined function in 4 ways. This you have studied in your C language also. You can define the function in the 4 ways here. So what are the 4 ways you can have is no parameters and no return value. No parameters, no return value. This is one way we can have the function. The other one is with parameters. Okay, argument also we can say. Okay, if you are comfortable with argument, I'll just say argument. Yes. Next one, no arguments and return value. And return value. This is the second we can have. The third one, argument with no return value. Argument with no return value. This is the third one we can have. And the fourth one, argument with return value. So these are the 4 ways how we can have a function. So depending on the situations, we will be going with parameters, with no return value, no parameters, with return value, with parameter and no return value, with parameters and with return value. These are the 4 ways what we have, and how these are the 4 ways how we can define a function. Take down these 4 ways. Now, shall we start? I'm taking the first case now. I'm just removing all this now. Now, I'm taking the first case. What is our first case here? Without argument and no return value. No return value. So this is the thing what I'm taking here. So first I'll define a function, and I'll take a simple example of addition of 2 numbers. So addition of 2 numbers I'm taking here. Def is a keyword what we will be using. Add is a function name. Add is a function name. And empty parenthesis colon. The meaning of empty parenthesis is we are not passing any parameters to the function. We are not passing any parameters to the function. Okay, so what I'll do here is we remembered docstring, right? Do you remember docstring? What is docstring? Documentation string. How to give a docstring? Single triple quote or double triple quote. So I'm just writing a docstring here. This function, what it is doing is addition of 2 numbers. Addition of 2 numbers. I have just given a docstring here. Nothing but a documentation string, or we can just say like a comment here. So the docstring, if you see the docstring, we can understand exactly what is happening in the function. What is happening in the function, you can understand here. And What is the doc string I gave here? Addition of two numbers. And if you observe, we did not pass any parameters to the function. We did not pass any parameters. So here itself, I will take a equal to int of input of enter a. The values I am entering in the function directly. And I'll take b equal to int of input of enter b. What is int, input, all that already we have completed. And I'll say c equal to a plus b. And here, as I said, the first case we are saying is with argument, without arguments and no written value. We don't have any written value also here. Closed parenthesis. Where? In which line? Did I miss anywhere? So here, since we don't have any written value, what we have to do here is we have to print. We have to print the result also in the function. Our first case is no parameters and no written value. Since the function is not returning any values, so what we have to do is the result also we have to print in the function. So that is the reason print the C I am taking in the function itself. So now let us try to execute now. Now let us see what happens here. I'll take sum.py. Expected indentation. Do we got any output? No. Do we have any error? We did not get any output and we did not get any error also. Why we did not get any output here? Why we did not get any output? Why we did not get any output is we have defined the function. We have defined the function, but did we call the function? We did not call the function, right? So what I'll do here is I'll just call the function here. I'll call the function. So I'm just calling the function here. I'll enter a value. Okay, I'll enter the value of a5 and I'll enter the b value as 6 and you're getting the result as 11. Since we did not call the function in the program, if you're trying to execute, we did not get any output. We did not get any output here. So now what I'll do is in the program itself, I'll write the function. I will call the function now. So I'm calling the function. How to call the function? The function name followed by parenthesis. The function name followed by parenthesis. And if you observe, we did not pass any parameters. That's the reason it is an empty parenthesis. Now if you run, you see now it is asking the enter a value. Enter a. 5 I have entered and b I have entered 7. So you are getting the result as 12. So from where the execution will start, if you're not writing, if you're not calling the function, nothing will happen. We don't get any error also, as I have shown you before. So from where the execution will be started is from here. Only the one instruction only you have here. Add is an instruction you have. So now this particular instruction will be executed first. Add is the first instruction which will be executed. Now, since you're calling the add function, now what happens is the control will go to the add. If you're not writing this, if you're not calling the function, nothing will be done. So If nothing is done, it is waste to write a function, right? So that is the reason we have to call the function. Now I'm calling the function add. Add is our function name. Now, which is the first instruction which will be executed in this program? Here I've written the program. So which is the first instruction which will be executed? This is one we have is a function we have. And another one is a function calling a have. So which will be the first instruction which will be executed is add is a first instruction which will be executed. Now, since you are calling this, now what happens is the control will go to the function definition. Now, in the function definition, all these instructions will be executed. Any doubt here? Is that clear? Shall I explain again or is this clear? The first case we are taking explain once again. Yes. Which case we have started? Totally, I said the function can be defined in 4 ways. What is the first way we are checking? Without arguments and no written value. We are not passing any arguments to the function and the function does not return any value. This is the first thing what we have started here. So first what we have done, I have defined the function. Now if you see the function definition, def is a keyword, add is a function name, and if you see we have is an empty parenthesis. Empty parenthesis, the meaning is we did not pass any parameters. And we have already seen the syntax of the function definition. Def space, okay, I'll just write down here. The syntax, I'll write it down once again. Def space function name followed by parenthesis, colon, and enter and statements. This is the syntax. This is the syntax. Now you check the syntax with the function def add. Add is our function name and empty parenthesis. The meaning is we have not passed any parameters to the function. Now, what is the second line? The second line is a doc string. What is the use of a doc string? Doc string, what is one more name? Documentation string. So what is the use of a doc string is, by seeing this doc string, we can able to say what exactly this function is doing. What exactly this function is doing, what I have given here, addition of 2 numbers. See, it is optional, but if you write the documentation string, it is a good habit. We should make a habit of writing a doc string. So by seeing this, we can understand exactly what is happening in the function. That is the second statement what we have. Now next, what we are doing, I am taking the value of A, I am taking the value of B. And next what I have done, I am adding the 2 numbers and I am just printing C here. So this is the thing what I have done. But here, since it does not return any value, that's the reason we are printing C. We are printing C directly in the function. What I'll do is I will just remove. I won't call the function. I did not call the function. What do we have is, okay, what I'll do here is, I'll just say print hello. I think it will be clear for you still. Print hello. Only one statement I have. This is the function definition and in the main program. This is the main program here. In C language, we have main and all that, but here we don't have main. So in the main program, what we have is a hello, and this is a function what we have here. Now, I did not call the function. What is our function name? What is our function name? What is our function name? Add is our function name, right? I did not call. If you see, I did not call. I will try to execute now. I'll try to execute. What will be our output? Only hello. Only hello we got. Why only hello? Why this function is not executed? Why this function is not executed? Because we did not call the function. Since we did not call the function, unless you call the function, this particular function will not be executed. Since you did not call, the control did not go to this function at all. Only this particular instruction, print hello, is only executed. Only this statement is executed. This particular thing is not at all executed. That's the reason we got the output as print hello. Now what I'll do here is, I will call the function now. How to call the function? Function name followed by parenthesis. I did not pass any parameters here. Is that okay? So only I'm calling the function now. So which is the first statement which will be executed? This is a complete program what we have here. Now which is the first statement which will be executed? Print hello is the first statement which will be executed. Now which statement will be executed next? Which statement will be executed? Add. You're calling the function. So that is the second statement which will be executed. Now since you're calling the function, the control will go to the function definition. So here the control is going now. So here the function is, the control is going. Now from here, the remaining statements will be executed. After that, after the function is executed, once again it will come back to the main program. That means it will come here. Okay, I'll just say here, print hi. Print hi. Now first time the first output will be hello. This is the first statement which will be executed. Next, add is the second statement which will be executed. Now, the third statement, this is the third statement from here. All the statements will be executed. Like this was the fourth statement which will be executed. And this will be the fifth statement. This is the sixth statement which is executed. And this is the seventh statement which will be executed. And finally, what happens after the function is completed? It will come back to the main function. It will come back to the main function and it comes to the next line of add. What do you have the next line of add? Hi. So it will come back to the next line of hi. That means the hi will be the eighth statement which will be executed. Are you able to see the flow? How it will be executed? Is the flow clear? I have given you the numbers here. Which is done first? Which statement will be executed? Even though this is the first you have written, that will not be executed until it is called. So since you are calling, then the control will go to the function definition. See, in any programming language, this is common. The flow of execution will be common. After the function is executed, immediately the control will come back to the main function and it comes to the next line of the function calling. So function calling is add. The next line what we have, print hi. So hi will be executed. Now let us see the outputs here. I'm just removing all the numbers. Dog string will not be executed because it is a comment. Now first, as I said, hello will be executed. Now hi, that enter A4. Now 7. What is the output? We have 11. Now after that, what happened? Immediately it came back to the main function and you are printing hi. Is that clear now?